Welcome back, Wolves fans, to today's edition of Timberwolves Today. Definitely coming back to you with good news after a Wolves win, an impressive win over the Atlanta Hawks and Nikhil Alexander Walker in his homecoming. Um, we're going to kind of run through a little bit of the game in three key points. It's a big bounce back win for the Wolves. Definitely considering how they've been playing lately. The whole Rudy Gobert effort, not trying accountability. Um, little quote and back and forth between he and Chris Finch. Definitely, the Wolves needed this one today. I think there were three key points to the Wolves' win. I think the first was the better ball movement that they had. Definitely coming out early, they wanted to push the pace. They were driving to the basket, driving and kicking. It all wasn't just like back them down one on one isolation ball with four guys standing around. Much better ball movement, boom movement off the ball, just better action. Um, in the first half, the Wolves on their 33 field goals had 23 assists. They typically average 61% on the season. 61% of their field goals come on assists. In the first half of this game, they were at 70%, which definitely is better than average. They finished the game with 36 assists and 55 field goals on 55 field goals, which put them at 65%. And so um, that was definitely above average, but in the second half they did fall into a little bit of the ISO ball. Julius held the ball a little too much at times, but definitely better ball movement. That was a very good sign for the Timberwolves and something that they're going to need to continue to do the rest of the season. The second thing that happened that I think was a key was the Wolves kind of weathered the lulls in the game. They weathered some Atlanta runs. They weathered the big leads where they tend to get a little bit complacent and at times a little bit lazy. Um, in the As they closed um, the half, they went on an 8-0 run. They were up 14 with 5.5 minutes left. And I looked at this at a point in the game that they've been in many times before, and I'm like, well, they can end. They were up 14. They can end the half up by like 22, or they could end the half up by 6. The Wolves typically go two ways on this. Unfortunately, too often they go the latter way when they're only up by 6 and they blow that big lead. But in this case, they actually were up 25 at half. So at a point in which often they let a team back in, they pulled away. In the second half, before the end of the third quarter, they were up by 31, 96-65. Atlanta went on a 13-4 run and ended on a 22-10 run to end the third, and it was just a 19-point lead. So Atlanta had shaved 12 points off there. Um, the fourth quarter, Atlanta got it to, I believe, 14 was the closest they got it. But for the most part, the Wolves had a 18 to 20 point lead the entire fourth quarter. And so that was really good for me to see the Wolves be much more consistent. Well, they did have a couple lulls there where they let off the gas. For the most part, they were able to keep a steady, nice, comfortable distance without the past, the recent memories kind of just creep in. And so I thought that was a big step for the Wolves. And the third key point I thought from the Wolves was their balanced attack. Um, they had seven players in double figures. Nas probably would have gotten into double figures if he hadn't got ejected with his little scrum with Muhammad Gay. Just a little aside there. Um, you don't want to mess with Nas. They got into this jersey pulling, and Nas got an elbow up a little bit. I don't think that there was a punch thrown. I'm sure that the NBA will look at that, so hopefully there's no suspension for Nas. Um, I know that in this little scrum, the bench players cannot come onto the court, so that definitely de-escalates things a little bit. Um, but there was a point there where they had a hold of each other, and Jock Landale thought he was gonna try and break it up, and he backed off. He saw Julius getting in there. No one else from Atlanta wanted any of the smoke that Nas or Julius were ready to bring. So I think that having that toughness is good. Letting the frustration boil over is not good. Nas has let that happen a couple of times, and so something hopefully that doesn't come back to hurt the Wolves later on. Back to my point though, the balanced attack from the Wolves. Ant led the way with 30. He had 36 and 6, kind of that classic Michael Jordan line, 30 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. He had 2 steals and a block. Um, Io Dasumu actually was second on the Wolves in scoring with 21. He was very efficient, 9 of 13 from the field, 2 of 4 from three. He did have 3 assists, a block, and a steal. He actually had more minutes than Dante. Io had 30 minutes, Dante with 26. Dante did finish with 10 points. A moderate 2 of 8 from three, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. Julius, Jaden, and Rudy each had 18 points. Julius had a triple double, 18, 12, and 10. There were a few lapses that we've, are accustomed to seeing from Julius, but for the most part, he did what Julius does. He scores points. He was efficient scoring, 8 of 14, and he rebounded well. He distributed the ball well. Um, and so that was a game we have seen from Julius and hope to see more of. Jaden, efficient as well, 7-11 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3 point land for 18 points. He had 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 blocks. Rudy, 7 of 7 from the field, 18 points. Incredibly efficient for Rudy, who leads the NBA in field goal percentage. The sevens for 7 is nice to see because that means he wasn't having to rebound his own misses. He only had 6 rebounds on the night, but most of his, all of his baskets were dunks and very easy layups. And so strong game for Rudy. Bones was strong off the bench as well. Again, efficient, 5 of 7 from the field, 3 of 5 from three, with 13 points and 5 assists. Very balanced attack from the Wolves. This is going to have to be their recipe going forward. Getting 2, 3 guys in double-digit scoring off the bench, Ant leading and scoring, doing multiple things well, and everyone just kind of playing their role on the team. Nobody trying to do too much, letting the game kind of come to them. It's kind of the perfect scenario. So overall, I think the game, it's a win. It's a quality win. It's in terms of having a 22-point win being quality. Atlanta, they were 26 and 28, so kind of right in that play-in range in the Eastern Conference. Um, so the Wolves, they have one more game before the break, the All Star break here. So they'll be looking to finish strong here when they play. Excuse me. They have Portland next before the break, and then Dallas coming out of the break. Um, so this game, clearly, one of the things that a lot of Wolves fans were looking forward to was the return of Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Welcome back, Nickeil. Welcome back, Nah. He had a nice little video tribute montage to begin the game. Got a standing ovation. Definitely, they He was a fan favorite here for his intensity, his hustle. Nobody ever questioned his effort. Rudy never questioned his effort, that's for sure. He played the game the right way. Never cheated the game. Just someone that you want on your team. You want in that foxhole with you, and so that's really what he became known for his time here in Minnesota. His 2.5 seasons here. He did come here at the trade deadline. 3 years ago. Coincidentally, he was traded to the Wolves on February 9th, which is kind of the anniversary of the game. He came here in the Mike Connolly deal from Utah. He never averaged over double digits with the Wolves. I think his last season he was 9.4 with like 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Um, this year with Atlanta, averaging 20 points, 3.5 assists, 3.5 rebounds, 3.7 assists, a little over 1 steal. Um, just a very solid year. I think we all expected Nikhil to have numbers like this given his opportunity in a starting role. He was a free agent at the end of last season. I think it was widely accepted that the Wolves could either keep him or Nas, not both. And I mean, I think the Wolves probably did the right thing in keeping Nas instead. Nas is kind of a unicorn. There are many players that can kind of play that role that Na does. Does not change the fact that, again, his hustle, intensity, positive nature, great teammate. Those are all things that you want on your team, but obviously we just couldn't have both. He did finish today's game with 23 points. He had 20 in the second half. Good game for him. Kind of not coming back to Minnesota. He played head to head, 1-on-1 versus Antelot. I think he kind of took that as a challenge. Maybe he tried to force things a little too much early on before the game came to him. You could see him joking around with some of his ex teammates like Rudy and Randall, even during the game. And so just great to see him back. Great to see him have success in Atlanta. Another person that was great to see have success was Io. Io, in his second game with the Wolves, has shown that that trade's already paying off for him. Mentioned earlier, he played 30 minutes, which was more than Dante. He just plays at an incredible pace, gets up and down the floor. I think Dante, I haven't seen enough of Io yet, but I think Dante's on the ball defense is a little bit better. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't see Dante losing that starting role, but as they say, it doesn't matter who starts; it's who finishes. Io finished the game with 20 points, 3 assists, a block, a steal, efficient scoring, 9 of 13. He played fast. He played downhill. He pushed the pace. He saw the court well, and he's just providing definitely a good extra punch for this team. It's important that they have that second or third scoring option, especially on nights where Bones or Nas is having an off night. Nas did not score at all after he got ejected. And so having Io in there to pick up that slack when Nas was gone was definitely much needed. And the last thing we're going to touch on today is some of the DeMar DeRozan buyout candidate rumors out there. It was kind of believed early on that DeMar DeRozan could be bought out and there could be interest in him joining the Wolves. The Lakers and Clippers definitely attached to him as well. Reports now are that he will not be bought out. I would not believe any of the hype. Would not get your hopes up that we will get DeMar DeRozan. First of all, it's going to be hard for Sacramento to get rid of him. It's hard because of his salary. It's hard to trade because of his salary, and it would open up some cap room, but it's going to be tough for them. DeMar Rosen would have to agree to a buyout. That's probably not going to happen because if he stays with the Kings this year and gets traded in the offseason, he stands to potentially make up to $10 million more in salary by not accepting the buyout now. Now, the benefit to him agreeing to the buyout would be he would then be able to essentially choose where he wants to go instead of being attached to a trade. Um, and so I guess there's a slim possibility that he could get bought out, that he would agree to that in hopes to go maybe play for the Clippers or the Lakers. I don't see a huge demand for him to come to the Wolves, a personal demand for him to come to the Wolves. Um, Obviously, if the Wolves can kind of inch back up, get a couple more wins under their belt, and be maybe seen as a more of a little a destination to come, uh, we'll see. But do not get your hopes up. Do not, yeah, don't get excited about DeMar Rosen becoming a Timberwolf. So just wanted to address some of those rumors and talking points that I have seen on X and on Facebook groups. So, yeah, well, that is it for today. Thank you for joining us for your Timberwolves news today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you don't, you can't become a member of this Wolf Pack. And we will see you next time. Thanks.